This past weekend, I got a communication from someone. And it was interesting because this is someone who has visited our community. This is someone who is very tied in with us. This is someone who lives in another city where she can't get to be with us on a regular basis, but has visited, knows us, and is known to many in our community. And she's been watching these videos and enjoying them and really taking great strides towards moving towards Messiah. And the message that I got from her this past weekend was, I don't really think that I have a problem with what the most current video was about. And I thought about it. You know, not every video speaks to every person's spiritual walk. And that's okay. Because each of us are going to end up drawing out of the interactions that we have with others around us. And some of us are going to be in a position where we look at what's going on and we go, that very thing touched my heart in such a fashion whereby I am changed by that interaction. And there's other videos that we're going to see and go, didn't need to see that, didn't need to know it. And obviously my hope is that most of these videos are going to touch most people in an applicable fashion whereby they look at it and go, I'm changed by it. But at the same time, if there is something that you have grown into that is not a problem for you, and it's a spiritual issue, or it's a moral issue, or it's an ethical issue, or it's otherwise something that's impactful for other people, I want to salute you because you have overcome in a specific area. And sometimes in the body of Messiah, the organized religious structure wants to make you believe that everything they talk about is something that you need to deal with right now. And in many cases, some cases, it probably is. But in other cases, we need to really recognize and understand that some of our flock have grown in specific areas by being close to Messiah for a period of time to the point where not everything that we address is a problem for them. And at that point in time, we really ought to have a party. Because that means that there's areas of growth. There's areas where you are dynamic. There's areas where you're moving forward. There's areas where you are not rendered small spiritually, but you've grown, you've developed, and you are a person who is walking in faith. Assuming that you, of course, have made a correct and a perceptive understanding of where you are at. So, as this lady said to me recently, I don't think that really applied to me, or I don't have a problem in that area. I just want to respond and say, I am really glad. And that doesn't mean that that video isn't up for some, and that doesn't mean that there aren't videos that will help you in other areas in the future. But we in the body of Messiah need to celebrate those who have overcome. And some have overcome in areas that we're struggling in, and some have overcome in areas we have also overcome in. And part of our relationship as being part of the body of Messiah and relating to each other is to afford respect and honor to others who have overtaken, who have overcome, who had problems and don't have those problems now, who are growing and developing into being people of maturity and people that the Spirit of God can use to encourage others. And I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily for you to end up going through and taking a look at the areas in which you have overcome. I don't think it's a bad thing for you to credit the Spirit of God with areas where you have had lessons, you have learned lessons, and you're excited by what has happened. And I really think that in terms of this, we are a people who need to look at this and go, we are excited about who God is. We are excited about who we are. We are excited that the power and the presence of God has moved in our lives. And there is a point where we give our allegiance to the Lord. There is a point where we recognize He is God and we are not. There is a point where we turn our worship from other directions towards worshiping the Lord. And there's points where what ends up happening is He starts to do a work in us. And when He starts to do a work in us, He is committed to coming to a place where He is going to finish that work, and good and excellent things are going to take place. So congratulations on the areas in which you are called to deal with sin that is still active, in areas where you still have to overcome. It's a good thing to recognize, because the beginning of maturing and growing out of areas of bondage and areas that enslave us is to recognize that they exist. But also, congratulations if there's videos on topics where you go, I don't really have a problem with that. Because if you don't really have a problem with that, that means that God has done a work, and we're excited about that work. And so we are not a people who are constantly dealing with looking for people who are infantilized. We're not looking to keep you immature. We're looking for you to grow, for you to develop, for you to have vision, for you to end up sharing what you have received, for you to move forward, and for you to understand certainly that you have come from a place of sin in the past, but also understand that the Spirit of the Most High God has been leading you through Scripture, leading you through communities, leading you through teachings, leading you through giving away of your faith as well, leading you through a variety of different disciplines that causes you to be a blessing in your generation and in your time, and in the circle of friends that you have, in the family that you are in, and amongst people who are looking for someone who has what you have. Shalom.